The story begins with a young boy sitting alone in his room, happily watching cartoons on TV. Suddenly, the TV signal cuts out. A breaking emergency report appears on the screen instead. The smile quickly disappears from the boy's face. The news reporter says that a deadly virus has spread across the world. Anyone who gets infected turns into a terrifying zombie within just a few minutes. The virus spreads extremely fast. Almost every part of the world has already been affected. The reporter warns everyone watching to find a safe place immediately before it is too late. While the boy is still staring at the TV, he suddenly hears a strange noise coming from the upstairs room. His heart starts beating faster. He slowly walks toward the stairs and carefully goes upstairs. As he looks inside the room, someone suddenly jumps in front of him. It is his older sister, and she was only trying to scare him as a joke. After calming down, the two children walk together toward their mother's room. When they enter, they see that their mother looks very worried. She's talking to her husband through a video call. She tells him about the horrible situation outside. Their father is a pilot. He tells them that he cannot come home right now. He tells his family to leave the house and find a safe place as quickly as possible. Before ending the call, he shows them the lucky bracelet on his wrist. It is the same bracelet that his daughter Abigail made for him. Abigail smiles when she sees it. It gives her a little hope even during this frightening moment. But only seconds later, loud screams and cries come from outside the house. Their mother immediately ends the call. She quickly starts collecting important things without wasting any time. Then she takes both of her children and rushes out of the house. The three of them run toward their car as fast as they can. Just as they are about to get inside, a dangerous zombie suddenly attacks their mother. Everything happens so fast that nobody has time to react. Out of fear, little Abigail quickly hides underneath the car. From there, she watches in horror as the zombie tears into her mother. Within moments, both her mother and her little brother are killed by the zombie. Abigail stays completely still under the car. She holds her breath and tries not to make any sound. Luckily, the zombie never notices that she is hiding there. After a while, it finally walks away. The little girl is shaking with fear. Then she notices something even more terrifying. Her mother's body suddenly starts moving. Because of the virus, her mother has turned into a zombie as well. The zombie mother spots Abigail hiding under the car and immediately reaches toward her. Just before she can attack, a stranger named Cassius arrives at the perfect moment. He quickly raises his gun and shoots Abigail's zombie mother. Then he pulls Abigail out from under the car and saves her life. At that moment, they also notice that Abigail's little brother is starting to transform into a zombie as well. Cassius tells the little girl to close her eyes and cover her ears. Then he shoots her little brother, who has already turned into a zombie. After that, Cassius takes Abigail's hand and leads her away from that terrible place. Time passes, and the story moves forward by 10 years. Because of the zombie virus, human civilization has completely fallen apart. The cities that were once full of lights and life have now become empty ruins. Almost everyone is either dead or has turned into a zombie wandering across the land. Abigail is now a grown-up young woman. Since that tragic day, she has been raised by Cassius. He trained her to fight zombies, use different weapons, and survive in this dangerous world. Abigail knows that if Cassius had not saved her that day, she would never have survived. That is why she sees Cassius as her father. After spending so many years living alone in the forest, Abigail often feels lonely. Her biggest wish is to find a human settlement where she can live with other people again. But Cassius has no interest in living with others. He believes that humans can sometimes be even more dangerous than zombies. One night, they are sleeping at their campsite deep inside the forest. Suddenly, the sound of a dry branch snapping wakes Cassius up. He quietly picks up his gun and steps outside the camp. Without warning, a zombie rushes out of the darkness and attacks him. Cassius quickly jumps back and fires several shots. The zombie falls to the ground. Hearing the gunshots, Abigail immediately runs outside. After surviving in the forest for the last 10 years, both of them know that zombies usually travel in groups. If one zombie is nearby, more are probably hiding close to the area. Realizing the danger, they quickly prepare to leave. As soon as morning arrives, they get on their horses and continue their journey through the forest. After riding for some time, their horses suddenly become nervous. They refuse to move forward. Cassius immediately understands that danger is close. Both of them carefully look around. In the distance, they spot a jeep surrounded by a large group of zombies. A lone survivor is desperately trying to fight them off. Since very few humans are still alive, they decide that they must save him. At the same time, Cassius wants to test Abigail's shooting skills. He tells her that she will be the one to rescue the man. Cassius wants to see if all of her training has finally paid off. He calmly tells her to take a steady aim and shoot only when she is ready. Abigail raises her rifle, but she fires too quickly. Her shot misses the perfect target. The bullet hits a zombie, but it also strikes the survivor. Cassius becomes very angry after seeing her mistake. The two of them quickly run toward the injured man. When they reach him, they realize that he cannot be saved anymore. He has been badly wounded by both the gunshot and the zombie attack. Instead of leaving him to suffer, Cassius mercifully shoots him. He does this because if the zombies had already bitten him, he could turn into another zombie and become a danger to everyone else. After that, Cassius and Abigail begin searching the dead man's jeep and supplies. Cassius notices that his own boots are badly torn, so he takes the dead man's boots and puts them on. Just as he finishes wearing them, several armed people suddenly arrive at the scene. They quickly surround Cassius and Abigail from every side. One of the men notices that Cassius is wearing their friend's boots. They immediately suspect that Cassius and Abigail killed him to steal his belongings. The situation becomes very tense. Everyone points their guns at Cassius and Abigail. Just as they are about to shoot them, a pregnant woman named Megan steps out of one of the group's vehicles. She tells everyone to stop because she believes Cassius and Abigail are not bad people. At that moment, Cassius quickly grabs a gun from one of the women. He tries to explain that they did not kill the man on purpose. They were only trying to save him from the zombies. Cassius then warns them that they need to leave this place immediately. He says these zombies are smart, and more of them are likely to arrive soon. Before anyone can react, Cassius's black horse starts neighing loudly once again. It is the same warning sign they have learned to trust. A second later, loud noises come from deep inside the forest. A massive horde of thousands of zombies suddenly charges toward them. The zombies attack so quickly that no one has enough time to escape. With no other choice, everyone stands their ground and starts fighting back with their weapons. Every person is armed, but the zombies are simply too many. The battle quickly slips out of their control. One by one, several members of the group are bitten by the zombies. The few survivors have nowhere safe to hide. Within a short time, only a handful of people remain alive. During the fight, a strong man is also bitten by a zombie. Realizing that he has been infected, he tries to shoot himself. But when he pulls the trigger, he discovers that his gun is out of bullets. At that moment, everyone understands the truth. They cannot win this fight against such a huge horde. Abigail quickly helps the pregnant woman into a vehicle. The woman's husband is already sitting inside. Cassius jumps into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away as fast as possible. Out of the entire group, only these 4 people manage to survive. Everyone else has been killed by the zombies. Meanwhile, a black-faced zombie sees the bodies of its fallen companions and becomes extremely angry. At the same time, Cassius, Abigail, Megan, and her husband continue driving away from the zombies. While they are on the road, Cassius asks the woman who they are and why they were in that area. She explains that they were trying to reach a place called Shiptown. According to her, Shiptown is a safe settlement where normal people still live. It has everything they need to survive, and they were hoping to start a normal life there. Hearing this makes Abigail very happy because finding a place like that has always been her biggest dream. But Cassius says that he does not believe a place like that exists. He tells them that he has been traveling through this world for the last 10 years, and he has never seen any safe colony like Shiptown. While they are still talking, their vehicle suddenly breaks down in the middle of the road. The pregnant woman's husband, David, gets out of the vehicle. He tells everyone that he is a mechanic and can repair it, but they do not have the proper tools, so he cannot fix the vehicle. With no other choice, they leave it behind and continue their journey on foot. After walking for many kilometers, they finally arrive at an abandoned residential area. The tall buildings are still standing, but the whole place is completely silent. It feels like death has taken over every corner. Before settling down, they carefully search the entire area. After making sure there is no immediate danger, they decide to spend the night there. That evening, they light a fire and start cooking food. Abigail is very excited about the idea of reaching Shiptown. She sits with Megan and asks her more about the place. Megan explains that they have already made radio contact with the people living there. She says it is a beautiful place where people can live safely and freely. Hearing this fills Abigail with hope. At the same time, Cassius goes outside and sets several traps around the area. He wants to make sure they will be warned if any danger comes close while they are sleeping. Later, Cassius comes back inside with a map. He tells everyone that he will travel with Megan and David for a short distance. After that, they will separate and continue on different paths. Abigail is not happy with this plan. She argues with Cassius and tells him that David cannot safely protect his pregnant wife all the way to Shiptown. She believes they should stay together until they reach the settlement, but Cassius disagrees. He tells her that they need to think wisely. He says that wherever there are more people, there is also more danger. Abigail becomes upset with Cassius's decision and walks away. None of them realize that the black-faced zombie has already followed the smell of their vehicle and found their location. The next morning, Abigail is sitting on the rooftop, looking at an old photo from her childhood. Suddenly, she hears leaves and branches moving below the trees. She immediately realizes that zombies have entered the area. She quickly runs downstairs to warn everyone, but while running through the building, a zombie suddenly starts chasing her. Abigail races toward the stairs to save herself. She uses all her strength and pushes the zombie hard. It loses its balance and falls down the stairs. But during the struggle, Abigail also slips and almost falls. At the last second, Cassius arrives, grabs her hand, and pulls her back to safety. Outside the building, the black-faced zombie has already reached the area with the rest of the horde. They have tracked the smell of their dead companion all the way there. But the traps that Cassius placed around the building finally do their job. As the zombies move inside, a huge explosion suddenly goes off. Many zombies are blown blown apart instantly. The moment Cassius hears the explosion, he understands that staying there any longer would mean certain death because the zombie horde is now extremely close. Luckily, they had already escaped before the explosion happened. While they continue walking, Abigail suddenly comes up with an idea. She tells Cassius that there is an old airport nearby where her father used to work. She thinks there might still be a plane there. If they can find one, they could fly straight to Shiptown instead of traveling on the ground. Cassius thinks the plan is far too risky. He explains that an airport is a wide open area. If they get trapped there, they will have no place to hide or escape. He also says there is no guarantee that they will even find a working plane. But after seeing Abigail's determination and hope, Cassius finally agrees to give it a try. When they arrive at the airport, everything is completely silent. The runway is empty and Cassius's fear seems to come true. There is not a single aircraft in sight, but their luck suddenly changes when they lift the door of an old storage hangar. Inside, they discover a small airplane. The sight fills everyone with hope. However, there is one big problem. The plane has been sitting unused for many years. David quickly checks the engine. As a mechanic, he says he can get it running, but he will need at least 10 to 15 minutes. Time is running out. David immediately starts repairing the engine with the tools he can find. Meanwhile, Cassius and Abigail keep watch around the airport. A few moments later, Cassius looks through his binoculars. He sees hundreds of zombies running toward them at full speed. He shouts that they are out of time and need to leave immediately. Without wasting another second, Abigail jumps into the pilot's seat. Her father was a pilot, so she remembers some of the cockpit controls from her childhood. Those old memories may be the only thing that can save them now. Outside, Cassius opens fire with his gun to stop the zombies from getting close to the plane. Abigail starts the engine with shaking hands. The propeller begins to spin. But by now, the zombies have already reached the aircraft. One zombie even grabs onto the plane. Cassius quickly shoots it with a perfect shot and it falls to the ground. Moments later, the plane finally lifts into the air. As soon as they take off, everyone feels a huge sense of relief. They believe they have escaped at last. But that feeling lasts only for a few moments. As the plane climbs higher, thick black smoke starts pouring out of the engine. After sitting unused for 10 years, the old machine finally gives up. The engine suddenly explodes, and the plane begins falling rapidly toward the ground. Cassius stays calm and uses his experience to guide the aircraft into a crash landing over the trees. The impact is extremely hard. The plane is completely destroyed, but luckily no one suffers a fatal injury. Now they have no choice except to continue their journey on foot. They collect their supplies and once again begin walking into the unknown. After traveling for many miles, they finally reach an abandoned railway station. Old broken train cars are still standing on the tracks. By now, night has fallen and darkness covers the entire area. Cassius carefully checks every corner of the station. Once he is sure there is no immediate danger, the group decides to spend the night there. The group checks their map and realizes that Shiptown is now only 2 days away. That same night, Megan walks over to Cassius and thanks him from the bottom of her heart. She tells him that without his help, they would have died a long time ago. Her words slowly begin to soften Cassius's cold heart. For the first time, he opens up about the painful secret he has been carrying for the last 10 years. Cassius explains that when the virus first spread, his own wife became infected. He was forced to shoot her with his own hands. He says that the man he used to be died on that day. But after meeting Megan, he finally feels that he has found a new purpose. He promises that he will do everything he can to get Megan safely to Shiptown. At the same time, another emotional moment is happening in the darkness. Megan's husband, David, is holding a pistol against his own head. He is thinking about ending his life. During the earlier attack, a zombie bit his leg. The wound is small, so the virus is spreading slowly through his body. David knows that sooner or later he will become a zombie. But he cannot leave his wife alone. He decides that as long as he is still in control of himself, he will take Megan safely to the gates of Shiptown. After that, he plans to end his own life. The next morning, the group starts walking again. Cassius quickly notices that David is struggling to walk properly. His years of experience tell him that something is wrong. Cassius quietly pulls David away from the others. He lifts David's pant leg and finds the bite mark on his leg. Without wasting a second, Cassius points his gun at David's forehead. He asks if David wants to end his own life or if he should do it himself. David calmly replies that he will never put anyone else in danger. He only wants to make sure his wife reaches Shiptown safely. He promises that the moment he feels he is losing control, he will shoot himself. Cassius looks into David's eyes and believes that he is telling the truth. Because of that, he decides to give him one chance. The journey continues, and before long, night falls once again. While walking through the forest, they suddenly notice a lonely house standing in the middle of nowhere. The sight feels strange and suspicious. Cassius carefully moves forward with his gun ready. As soon as they get close to the house, a bright spotlight suddenly shines directly into their faces. Then a deep voice comes through a loudspeaker. The voice orders them to drop their weapons or they will be shot immediately. Cassius realizes that there are still people living inside. Abigail bravely steps forward and shouts that they are not there to hurt anyone. She says they only need help and that they have a pregnant woman with them. A few moments later, the front door slowly opens. A middle-aged man walks outside. He introduces himself as a scientist. He tells them that they are safe there, but they must leave all of their weapons outside before entering. They agree to his condition and go inside the house. The scientist warmly welcomes them. He explains that he never left this place because it is the perfect location for continuing his research. Then he serves them a proper meal. The dining table is covered with all kinds of delicious food. It is the kind of meal they have not seen in almost 10 years. Hungry after their long journey, they immediately begin eating with great excitement. As they continue talking, the scientist starts saying some very strange things. He claims that the virus is not actually evil. According to him, it is an upgrade for humanity. He says that weak humans are meant to disappear, while only the strong will survive by becoming zombies and ruling the world. After hearing these words, Cassius and the others begin to feel uncomfortable. They realize that something is seriously wrong with this man. At the same time, David's condition suddenly gets worse. The virus is now spreading much faster through his body. He walks into the bathroom and looks at himself in the mirror. The veins on his body have turned black and his eyes are becoming blood red. He understands that his time is almost over. When David returns to the living room, he finds Cassius, Abigail, and Megan lying unconscious on the sofa. The scientist secretly mixed sleeping medicine into their drinks. Furious, David rushes toward the scientist to attack him. But before he can reach him, the scientist presses a button on a remote device. Instantly, David's body is hit by a powerful electric shock. He falls helplessly onto the floor. Smiling proudly, the scientist reveals that after years of research, he has created a device that can control the minds of zombies. He says he no longer fears them because he has become their king. David slowly loses consciousness. When he finally opens his eyes again, he finds himself tied up with ropes along with Cassius, Abigail, and Megan. They are inside a laboratory. The scientist stands in front of them and says that they are now going to become part of his experiment. Then he asks if they would like to meet his wife. He points toward a large cage. Inside it, a terrifying female zombie is locked away. She is actually the scientist's own wife. He had used her for his twisted experiments. The scientist opens the cage door. The zombie woman rushes out and immediately tries to attack him, but he calmly presses the button on his remote. At once, the zombie changes direction and starts walking toward the tied-up survivors instead. She attacks Cassius, but Cassius kicks her away with all his strength. At that exact moment, the virus inside David gives him incredible power. He snaps the ropes around his body and quickly frees everyone else. Seeing this, the frightened scientist runs away. Without wasting any time, the 4 survivors escape from the laboratory. They jump into the scientist's vehicle and drive away. But the mad scientist uses his control device to send a huge army of zombies after them. Soon, the road ahead becomes blocked. They are forced to leave the vehicle behind and continue on foot. David knows that his end is very close. He makes Megan promise to keep moving forward without him. Then he stays behind to fight the zombies alone. He battles them with great courage, but in the end he is killed. His sacrifice gives the others enough time to escape. Cassius and Abigail carry Megan and keep running until they finally reach the edge of the human settlement known as Shiptown. The guards watching from the towers immediately open fire on the zombies and save them. A small boat is sent to rescue them. They climb aboard and safely enter the settlement. The black-faced zombie stops the rest of the horde because they cannot cross the water. The next morning, the survivors wake up and discover that Shiptown has been built by connecting several large ships together. Cassius does not like the crowded environment at all. He quietly tells Abigail that they should leave this place as soon as possible, but Abigail refuses to leave. After spending so many years alone, she finally has the chance to live among other people, and she does not want to lose that happiness. This leads to a huge argument between Cassius and Abigail. Cassius only sees danger in this place, while Abigail sees a chance to live a normal life again. Meanwhile, Megan gives birth to a baby girl, but she loses too much blood during the delivery. The doctor says she will not survive. Before dying, Megan places her baby into Cassius's arms and asks him to take care of her. A few days later, Abigail notices that the young man she likes is secretly entering a hidden room. She follows him and discovers that powerful explosives have been placed underneath the entire city. They were installed so the settlement could be destroyed if it was ever overrun by zombies, but that danger arrives sooner than anyone expects. The scientist appears again while controlling the zombie king with his device. Soon, huge numbers of zombies attack Shiptown from the water. They storm into the settlement and begin killing people. Cassius immediately starts fighting the zombies while searching for Abigail. After battling through the chaos, he finally finds finds her. Just then, the scientist attacks Abigail. Cassius quickly steps in and fights him. During the fight, he gets the perfect chance to smash the control device attached to the scientist's hand. The moment the device is destroyed, the scientist loses control over the zombies. They instantly turn against him and tear him apart. As panic spreads through the settlement, everyone begins escaping through an underground tunnel. On the other side, the young man waits for Cassius and Abigail to arrive so he can destroy the city at the right moment. While Abigail is running behind Cassius, the zombie king suddenly grabs her. Cassius immediately attacks the creature to save her. But then Abigail notices the bracelet on the zombie king's wrist. It is the same bracelet she made for her father when she was a little girl. She suddenly realizes that the zombie king is actually her father. Before she can react, Cassius pulls her away and keeps moving. A few moments later, the young man presses the remote control, and the entire shiptown explodes in a massive blast. But even after the explosion, the zombie king rises from the burning ruins and comes after them once again. Cassius bravely stands his ground and fights the monster without fear. However, he slowly starts losing the battle. Seeing Cassius on the edge of death, Abigail quickly picks up a gun from the ground. She knows that the zombie standing in front of her is her own father. But she also knows that he is trying to kill the man who protected her and raised her like a daughter for the last 10 years. Without hesitating any longer, Abigail leaves her painful past behind. She points the gun at the zombie king and pulls the trigger. With that emotional moment, the story finally comes to an end. If you liked this video, please like it and subscribe to our channel to see more such videos. Thanks for watching.